What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this episode of the Allie Bjerk Show. I am so excited that you are here, and I cannot wait to jump into today's topic because it is such a top of mind thing for so many private clients that I've talked to, for people that are in my group coaching program, and even what I've been experiencing myself lately. So there is this concept as a high achiever that we like to achieve things, right? Like we like to go further faster. We like to look at all we can get done. We like seeing the boxes checked. We like seeing the income rolling in. And sometimes we can start chasing the achievements instead of actually listening to what our guts are telling us when it's time to expand, or when it's time to shift business models, or even when it's time to stop launching and avoid that feast and famine cycle. We always know what it is that we want for our lives and for our businesses. But when this resistance shows up, this feeling that something's off or something's out of alignment, oftentimes high achievers will just keep their head down. We will work even harder. We'll try to go even faster. We will push through the resistance. And it often leads to burnout or resentment, or, sometimes really bad personal things can happen, like people have faced divorce, people have gotten really unhealthy. We just push so hard that we stop taking care of ourselves. So today I want to talk about how can you avoid doing this? What tools can you put in place so that you don't get stuck in that cycle of like, oh, I just have to produce more. I gotta be better. I gotta keep growing. How do we allow ourselves to exist and to be happy in the moment and be present with our current levels of success while continuing to work for that next thing, right? I'm not saying stop entirely, but I realized this within the last month or so. I got to take a 3-week long trip to Mexico with my kiddos. The first week I was there because I was speaking at an event by Russell Brunson. I got to coach his 2 Comma Club coaching program and his inner circle, which was absolutely amazing. I realized I love being on stage, so I can't wait to do more of that. But after that, I didn't open my laptop at all. After that first day at the event, I was completely present, and I planned on working from Mexico. I was excited before leaving to maybe open my laptop in the morning and sneak in some early work sessions and then hang out with my family. But when I got to Mexico, I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like waking up early, so I didn't set an alarm. Normally at home, I will naturally wake up at about 4:30 or 5. I don't know why, I just do. But when I was in Mexico, even though I was going to bed at the same time, my body naturally was waking up at like 7:30 or 8. I must have known that I needed a reset, that I needed some amount of rest, because I wasn't even inspired to wake up. So I just didn't. My business, because of the way that I've set it up over the last decade, has produced lots of passive income sales. So my sales never slowed down, but I really believe that I needed that reset. I needed some time off. But what it showed me, because I did take that reset, I had so many creative inspirations while I was there. I came back more excited than ever to jump into my coaching programs and launch new things, create new products, completely redesign my business without fear. I felt for a long time like that there was more that I should be talking about, or there was more that I can coach on. I've had so much success helping people create 7-figure coaching businesses, but yet I was still over here talking about a different topic. And I was feeling like I can't change what I'm talking about. I don't want to be a flake. I don't want to pivot and make people think that I'm not an expert in that anymore, or that it's not working anymore. I had all of these fears back here in my brain that were telling me I couldn't do the thing. But when I did unplug and I allowed myself just that creative mind wandering time, which is why we have our best ideas when we're on the treadmill or in the shower, right? We're not actually trying to produce. We're not trying to beat our heads against the wall and think of the thing. We're just letting it happen. So I had 3 weeks of just letting it happen. And what it inspired me to do was a few different things that I'll share with you. Number one, it encouraged me to take a CEO week every single month. Every month for 1 week, I'm not going to have any calls. I'm not going to have any coaching calls. I'm not going to have any calls with my team. We're going to set the business up, and we're working on pivoting in this direction right now, so that I get that creative break. I have time to create. I have time to write. I have time to make content if I feel like it. So allowing me 1 week off every single month, and just positioning it that way to our students of, you get 3 calls per month and then a week for implementation. I need implementation time too. And oftentimes, because I work 2 days a week, I have little kids at home. When I'm working 2 days a week, the days will be packed, like from 8 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. that I don't even have a break to go to the bathroom on some days. And I realized when I was in Mexico, that's got to change. So making more breathing room in my schedule is super important. Another thing I'm going to be doing is adding those non-negotiables into my calendar. So if I want to work out every morning, or if I want to go to yoga on X days per week, I put that in my calendar first. We have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, number one, as entrepreneurs, because we do not think as well. We don't lead as well. We can't coach as well when we're fried, or when we're not taking care of ourselves, or when we don't feel great, or when our relationships aren't feeling good, or our kids with our kids and not, I can't say words, but, or when we're not getting along with our kids. Those things keep us from being able to focus on the impact and make the money that we want to make in our business. So we have to keep it balanced as best as we can. We have to be intentional about where we're spending our time. And we've got to listen to the resistance that is showing up and saying, I don't feel like doing that anymore, or I don't feel like talking about that anymore. This is a little bit of a balance, because as visionaries, we can be arsonists, right? Like, we often are highly creative, maybe ADHD, and sometimes we get bored. Like, when you are scaling to $1 million and beyond, it's a lot of repetition. It's a lot of building systems. It's a lot of focusing on what works and continuing to do that. So sometimes we read that as boredom, or we read that as resistance, but you need to find outlets where you don't burn down the thing that's working really well. If you need a creative outlet, you can launch different top of the funnels, right? You can have different tiny offers. You can launch a new challenge. You can add it in to what's already working, but don't stop doing what you already have data is working really well in your business. So something to focus on is realizing and taking an assessment of your life. Like, if you were not working all the time, or if you feel like you're working too much, what are you missing out on? If you were to go through your calendar and you were to add in your values and the things that matter most into that calendar first, what would go in there? Time to pull your kids into your lap and read a book, a coffee date with your partner, time for you in the mornings to journal, or even just sit and have ideas, time to work out, time to prep healthy meals. What are you not doing right now that's actually negatively impacting your business, even though it feels like that's the pullback, right? Like, when you pull the arrow back, these are the things that we have to keep focus on as entrepreneurs. Otherwise, everything is going to drop at some point, right? Like, all the balls that you're juggling are at some point going to fall if you're not making time for this in your life. So if you're up against that and you're like, I don't know when to say when, and I don't know if I'm doing things right, and I don't know if this is the path for me, and I have all of these different options, you got to listen. So when you listen and you think about it in your body, in your core, when you feel it, when you really feel it, you always know what you want and what you need in your business. But we look outside of ourselves all the time for the answers. I had a private client show up to a call, and she asked me, it was like a life altering decision. Like, should I close this business and focus on this business, or should I keep growing both at the same time? And I was like, what do you want to do? And I know as a coach, it's super hard to be able to put it back on our clients. That's our job, right? Like, we have to help them get to the answer, because if we're the one giving the advice, we're the one telling them what to do, it's never going to sit. So I could have an idea based on other things that she was saying, what she truly wanted to do, but she had to come to that conclusion herself. So we talked about different options and realized some different things that I think are important and probably universal for a lot of high achievers. We feel like we need infinity money, right? Like, we feel like we could always make more. There's always something else comes up. There's a big purchase we want, or there's some debt that we want to pay off. There's a program we want to join. There's always something. And we can get in this feast and famine cycle and this hamster wheel of just trying to have the next launch, or trying to make a big money month so that we can pay something else off. But you've got to understand that that's going to be the course of life. There's always going to be something. It's never going to stop. So when you think you're like chasing to this scenario where, like, when I get here, then I will stop working so hard, or when I accomplish this next payoff, when I pay off this debt, or when I, buy this dream home, or when I help my husband choose flexibility and be able to quit his job. When you think about it from that angle, there's always going to be a new goal. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur, is that the goalpost moves. We're always moving towards that next thing. So you have to realize infinity money is going to not happen, but also realize you've got to be able to pace yourself and figure out why. Like, what is it all for? What do you need all of that for? And what would you do if you knew it was going to take 5 years, or if you knew it was going to be 10 years, and you could be patient and realize that there's no race, there's no emergency. You have lots of time to be able to hit those goals. That's something that I've had to realize myself. I recently joined a real estate investing program, and my husband and I own 3 income properties now, but my goal is 20, right? Like I want 20. That's the number to be able to have passive income that would replace his income. So when you think about it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have a launch and then we could buy 20 properties all at once and it would be amazing. But the pressure of that, the pressure to think, oh, we're going to find 20 houses all at once, the pressure of thinking that I'm going to make, $1.5 million in a month and be able to keep all of it and not have expenses and not have things pop up in my business, because that's what ends up happening when we're trying too hard. Anytime we make money out of alignment, it's going to be pulled away because something else is going to come up, a bill, an unexpected tax item or something. We can't do it too fast like that. But when I sat down with the coaches in this real estate coaching program, they sat me down and they said, Allie, if you buy one house a quarter for the next 5 years, you're going to hit your goals. And it was like literally the sigh of relief, like, oh, okay, like in 5 years, I'll be 40. My husband will be 40. My kids will be, and I like did the math and I was like, wow, you know what? That's still super amazing to be retired at 40 or have the option to retire at 40. And it took all of this weight because I don't even have to work harder for that to happen, right? Like that's already done. I could just keep doing exactly what we're doing and easily find one house every 3 months and easily pay cash for one house every 3 months. That's not hard. So when that weight was released from thinking that I had to like do all of the things and be the creator of all of this magic, now it's coming so much more naturally because I'm not like trying to pull this knot and make it happen. Now it's just happening. And now the houses feel like they're falling in our laps. And now the ability to buy with cash is just there. So when you're not fighting so hard against the universe and like telling it has to happen like this, it has to look like this, then it's so much easier for it to just flow and for it not to feel so scary and for us not to be in that space of like desperation and creation, because those two really don't blend, I got to tell you. So when you think about, say you're debating between 2 business models and you're like, oh, I really want to launch a coaching program, but I also just want to make passive income. You got to think about, if you were to focus in one direction, how much easier it would be to go all in with the thing. When I have a sign back there that says entrepreneurs build their parachute after jumping, right? Like we burn the bridges and we move forward. But it can be really scary to make that choice. But until you make the choice to go after the thing that your gut really wants, it's not going to be possible. So you've got to get clear on it. You have to listen to that instinct that is in your gut. And one of the coolest exercises that I've ever done on this, when you think about colors, like think about a color that you really love, like something that just when you see it, it makes you happy, and feel like what your body feels like when you think of that color, or when you think of wearing a dress in that color. Just feel that in your gut, like you feel good, you're joyful, you're inspired. But then think about wearing a dress or a shirt if you're male, that doesn't feel good. Something that is, it's like a pea green, gross puke color. Like think about that. Feel how you would feel walking into a room wearing that color. You'd be like, ew, like this doesn't make me feel confident at all. When you think about choices and you really listen and you like sit with the idea, you can feel that same gut instinct. Like, does this light me up or does this make me feel like, blah, I'm not confident wearing this outfit walking into a room? When you think about the choices, if you have 2 paths in front of you, you really got to listen and you really got to tune in and have a moment of silence for yourself so that you can actually pay attention. And I know if you have kids, it's super hard. I experience that too. So see what you can do, journal it out, think about it. There are also other tools that you can use that will release your subconscious or let you access your self-conscious or subconscious. And I'll have to do a video about that a different time. But knowing like getting a pendulum and asking it a question, or getting even tarot cards and putting them in front of you so you can ask it a question. Or if you're religious, like opening the Bible and finding a passage that you want to listen to or read and apply it to your life. There are so many tools to help you access your subconscious, because you always know. You don't need someone to tell you what to do. You always know what it is that you want to do. So this is your permission to listen, your permission to make that decision to go after the thing that you've been avoiding, and your heart knows. So that's a big takeaway from this video. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, share, make sure that you don't miss any of our future videos or episodes, because I am so excited to be here and to start sharing even more content like this with you here on YouTube and on the podcast. Thanks. Talk to you guys soon.